Who is Doria Ragland? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Who is she indeed? We all know that she is Harry's wife's mother and former spouse of Thomas Markle Sr. But who is she? Is she a dependable mother and grandma that is invariably available to assist with child-minding duties for Archie and Lilibet? Is she former convict with a murky past that somehow nobody has fully been able to expose? Is she a loyal lieutenant of Harry's wife, there to undertake her bidding and to ensure that Harry remains trapped in a pincer movement between his mother-in-law and his wife? Or is she simply a ligger who enjoys the status that comes with the prominence that her daughter has achieved, the money that she's laid her hands on, and therefore is able to get herself freebie invitations to Ms. Foundation events and prance about at a Beyoncé concert? Well, the Mail Online has been looking at who she might be, and Caroline Graham explains, there was quite a buzz when Doria Ragland joined the Kardashians at a star-studded charity evening the other night, and not just because she decided to wear a high street outfit from J.Crew for the event. Rather, it is that Doria, mother to Harry's wife, has kept a resolutely low profile throughout her daughter's elevation to royal status and the subsequent move to America. Low profile, but constant, that is. And Doria, who has just turned 67, has been decidedly influential, perhaps the more so since the relationship between Harry's wife and her father, Thomas Markle, collapsed into silence. Or, more accurately explained, it's as a consequence of him being disengaged from. With Tom recovering in hospital from a heart attack, it was Doria alone who represented Harry's wife's immediate family at the 2018 wedding. Or, perhaps more accurately, she was the only one that Harry's wife's narcissism would allow to attend, all the others being deemed either a threat to control, father, half-siblings, or not important enough, the other members of the Ragland clan. Today, Doria seems closer than ever to her daughter. She reportedly has her own granny flat at the Sussex's Monty Shitshow mansion, and she has a swirling flower tattoo on her right forearm, which many believe is a nod to her touching childhood nickname for Harry's wife, who she always called Flower. Or, for those of you who understand my work, recognise that that's a pet name. Watch my video, Pet, and you'll understand. And as the Mail on Sunday's US editor Caroline Graham reported at the time, Harry's wife's mother was a key force in Megxit, Harry and Harry's wife's controversial decision to leave frontline royal duties in Britain itself in 2020 for a new life in North America. Caroline Graham at the time wrote, amid the turmoil of Prince Harry and Harry's wife's dramatic exit from Britain and the royal family, she, Doria, has been an oasis of calm. Stoic, and with an unwavering loyalty towards her daughter and son-in-law, Doria Ragland has emerged as a silent but steely influence behind the couple's decision to seek financial independence in North America. The woman who instilled in her daughter from a young age the motto, "Don't give the milk away for free," or "Don't do anything for nothing," has become close to Prince Harry. That mantra, "Don't give away the milk for free," is symptomatic, of course, of the narcissism of Doria Ragland, whereby she is unaware of it, but it governs her in terms of she must extract benefit from everything, and she has schooled Harry's wife in that regard also. As I've explained to you before, Harry's wife became a narcissist as a consequence of the genetic predisposition that was passed on to her and the lack of control environment she found herself in. And furthermore, with tutelage such as "Don't give away the milk for free," it is hardly surprising that she's ended up the manipulative narcissist that she is. She's laid back, apparently, and people see her nose ring and dreadlocks, which are cool. But make no mistake, she has a core of steel. Underestimate her at your peril. Harry's wife has always trusted her completely, but she has become a rock to Harry, who of course lost his own mother so young. This rock that she supposedly has become for Harry is again about control. Her own control of Harry, as she is a narcissist herself, but furthermore, as a loyal lieutenant to her daughter, to ensure that Harry is kept in the grip of both of them. Doria has a great warmth. She's a brilliant cook and is very motherly, but she isn't someone who seeks attention, and for Harry, her discretion and silence mean the world. Or rather, she portrays warmth. She may well be a brilliant cook. She portrays a motherly approach. And her narcissism ensures that she's well fueled, but without going about it in the overt fashion that, say, Harry's wife does. She doesn't necessarily need to court the crowds, although we have seen more glimpses of that as of late, with her attendance with the Kardashians, her attendance at the Miss Foundation event, and, of course, turning up at the Beyoncé concert. Indeed, since Doria was famously photographed, sitting by herself in a pew at the couple's wedding in May 2018, the only member of Harry's wife's family to attend the ceremony at Windsor, there have been so few photographs, however, that many people have asked, where's Doria? Well, this, of course, was written in 2020, and that's certainly changed now. Doria has always been someone who values her privacy, and no more than now, a source added, but she's been back and forth for the last few weeks, and when she's not with them, she is on the phone constantly. Being on the phone, of course, is hoovering, allowing the assertion of control and drawing of fuel, and it works both ways with regard to her and her daughter. Harry described his mother-in-law as amazing in a BBC interview to coincide with his engagement, and when baby Archie was born last May, Doria spent 6 weeks living with Harry and Harry's wife at Frogmore Cottage as they adjusted to parenthood. There, that enables her, of course, to assert control over her grandchild, over her daughter, and over her son-in-law, whilst drawing fuel from them. And from Harry's wife's perspective, since she's there as a helper, that's advantageous as a residual benefit to Harry's wife. Born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1956 to Jeanette, a nurse, and Alvin, an antique dealer, Doria was still a baby when the family moved west to Los Angeles in pursuit of the American dream. Alvin, a charismatic man described as catnip to women, so we can see where her own narcissism came from, sold knickknacks from the boot of his car, but later had his own antique shop, although he never made much money because he was always reluctant to part with his treasures. His death in March 2011 at the age of 82 was a freak accident. He tripped on his dog's leash and hit his head on the pavement. After his death, Doria found thousands of pounds worth of gold coins hidden in his suit pockets. Alvin left his home in the middle-class black neighbourhood of Windsor Hills to Doria and her sister Sandra. Doria would buy out her sister, leaving her with a mortgage of around £100,000. Doria was deeply affected when her mother died young. This was something that led Doria to take care of her body. Or more likely, it is the manifestation of her own somatic narcissism, which is something that Harry's wife has. This has also been instilled in Harry's wife. Doria comes across as this nose-ring-wearing, dreadlocked hippie, but she has total self-belief, something she's passed on to Harry's wife. This, of course, is the narcissism at work. That total belief in whatever the narcissist does is right and proper. When Harry's wife and Harry announced they were walking away from their jobs as royals to be financially independent, it immediately smacked of Doria. Being financially independent has always been important to her. Financial independence, of course, equates to the ability to assert control. Doria attended Fairfax High School in Hollywood at a time when racial bigotry and tensions were rife. She was part of an all-black group of students which would regularly protest, said close friend Jennifer Caldwell. She had this beautiful afro hairstyle she was so proud of, and she was always into fashion. She was always smiling, whip-smart, and sociable. More somatic traits. Doria was very aware of her own identity and confident in her body and where she was going. She wanted to make something of her life. After a period in Northern California, living a hippie lifestyle, picking crops under the blazing sun for a minimum wage, she returned to Los Angeles in 1979 and began working as a secretary at ABC Studios, where she met Thomas Markle. The strapping 6'3" 35-year-old divorcee and lighting director worked on the hit TV shows General Hospital and later Married with Children. For Thomas, it was love at first sight, a common narcissistic comment. In a Channel 5 documentary that was screened recently, he told how the pair married in 1979 in a Buddhist ceremony after a whirlwind courtship. Harry's wife was born 2 years later, in August 1981. But the marriage foundered after 2 years. Note, short golden period. Narcissists collide. According to Thomas, because of his grueling work schedule. At one point, he was working 2 jobs to pay for the family's home in the middle-class suburb of Woodland Hills. What was Doria doing during this time whilst Thomas was working his backside off? Just sitting back and enjoying the fruits of his labour, perhaps showing that sense of entitlement. When Thomas's 2 teenage children from a previous marriage, Tom Jr. and Samantha, came to live with them, Doria became a stepmother. There was also racism to contend with. When Doria would push Harry's wife, whom she called Flower, in her pram around the palm-lined streets of Woodland Hills, she would be asked if she was the nanny. Doria wasn't happy. She wanted to move back to the city, and that's what she did. When Harry's wife was 11, she and her father moved into a flat close to her £13,500 a year private girls' school, Immaculate Heart. Some have questioned why Doria gave up Harry's wife to live with her father from 11 to 18 when she went to university. The Mail on Sunday reveals that there was no giving up. Doria and Thomas remained close friends, and although Harry's wife has spoken about how she grew up on the set of General Hospital, the soap which earned her father 2 Emmy Awards, she would spend weekends with both parents. Doria, determined to be financially independent, started a dressmaking business called A Change of Dress. Ultimately, the business would fail, but she went on to earn a master's degree in social work at the University of Southern California. Thomas retired from ABC Studios 7 years ago and moved to the sleepy beach town of Rosarito in Mexico. But he would continue to stay with Doria during his frequent trips to Los Angeles. Doria cooks the best Cajun shrimp gumbo, something she taught Harry's wife, said a source. When Tom came to Los Angeles, he would stay with Doria. They always remained the best of friends for Harry's wife's sake. Doria would do his laundry. He'd stay the night at her place, and she cooked breakfast in the morning. This was while she had a boyfriend. There was never any problem until Harry's wife met Harry. Indeed, Thomas, Doria and Harry's wife spent Thanksgiving 2016 together after Harry's wife had started dating Prince Harry in a house Harry rented in Beverly Hills. There were no servants, just the family. Doria and Harry's wife cooked, and Harry's wife even posted a picture to her now-defunct website, The Tig, of her mother and father's hands on a gravy bowl. It was only in the run-up to May 2018 wedding, when Thomas made the ill-fated decision to pose for paparazzi pictures, that the happy family unit fell apart. Thomas had 2 heart attacks and was unable to walk his daughter down the aisle, a duty which then fell to Prince Charles. Now, this is what the Mail had to say about Doria Ragland, and paints it as a picture of a relatively content family unit. It completely misses the absence of Doria Ragland, glossing it over to suggest that there was no giving up of Harry's wife, that she didn't disappear, as has been repeatedly reported. Quite why that is, well, only those that have wrote the article would be able to confirm this omission. What it does do, however, is completely fail to recognise what Doria Ragland is, another narcissist. It fails to recognise and comment upon many of the things that she had done with regard to not being involved in her daughter's upbringing, showing her sense of entitlement and a lack of responsibility through her parental abrogation of responsibilities and duties. Her failure to continue to have an involvement with Harry's wife, and also her rather laissez-faire attitude towards parenting when she was particularly little, contributed to that lack of control environment. She was all about herself, and is only now having greater involvement with her daughter because her own narcissism recognises that it is advantageous to do. By providing child-minding services, she gets somewhere to live, she gets glamorous places to go, she has access to money. All of this accords with what her narcissism wants, and that's why, at least for the time being, these 2 narcissists, Harry's wife and her mother, have a relative peaceful coexistence. There is much more to be learned about Doria Ragland, and undoubtedly there would be a litany of poor behaviours arising from the devaluing behaviour that she exhibited towards Thomas Markle Sr. The point is, she is a narcissist like her daughter, and is governed by the same principles, that she must pursue control, gain fuel, draw character traits and residual benefits. And she is instrumental in the control of Prince Harry, who finds himself, in effect, under friendly attack from his mother-in-law and the sustained devaluation, a more obvious form of attack, from his wife. It's little wonder that old Ginger Bollocks doesn't know whether he's coming or going when he faces both his wife and her loyal lieutenant. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.